Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection report for Friday, July 21. What does the word Zion even mean? Well, it comes from the Hebrew root word, and I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, Zion. In modern Hebrew, the result is of several verbs, including, and I'm not going to pronounce it, the verb to mean to mark or to emphasize. Zion in the Bible started as a nickname for Jerusalem. Look upon Zion, your eyes will see Jerusalem, Isaiah 33:20. Later it became a nickname for Israel as a whole. An example, Jeremiah 3:14, God says, I will choose you, one from a town and two from a clan, and bring you to Zion. Zion is also the name of a mount in Jerusalem that was conquered from the Jebusites by King David and is in the city of David. So based on both linguistics and the history from text, why then are so many public figures and high-minded intellectuals so eager to call themselves anti-Zionists? Is this not a self-proclaimed anti-history label, or even anti the people who have been indigenous to a region? By this analysis, by our analysis, indeed one can equate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism because they are one and the same. A denial of a human value, of an experience and a history of a group of people. It is no different than the discrimination and dehumanization that the Africans experienced during the era of slave trade. It is no different than the genocide that was railed against the Armenians in the last century, let alone the Holocaust, of course, that was also in the last century. All these atrocities in human nature, academics and discussion groups wring their hands over as the horrors of the human experience and the most evil that one human can do to another. Yet these same hand-wringers and academics either dismiss or worse, participate in this very activity, targeting a particular group of people, the Jewish people, their entire culture and their history and language, and of course the land, which is legally and rightfully the modern state of Israel. Make no mistake, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Even recently elected President Macron of France publicly announced just last week that anti-Zionism is equated with anti-Semitism and will not be tolerated within his administration. How many speeches, how many websites, how many social media sites, and how many reasoned voices from every spectrum of the political realm, as well as cultural realms, including performing artists such as Radiohead, John Bon Jovi, Roseanne Barr, Lady Gaga, many more, and the halls of Congress, bipartisanly, Republicans and Democrats from the broadest breadth of spectrum of domestic policies agreeing and legislating that BDS and anti-Zionism are indeed anti-Semitic. Yet screaming voices from the likes of Linda Sarsour and ill-tempered college professors who march with disdain and visceral signage still gain support from new supporters. It is a veil of evil, I say, that masks the eyes of the ignorant. And the exclamation of truth, as well as the demonstration of it, has to continue. We cannot get discouraged and we cannot grow weary. Our endeavors should be to constantly and consistently proclaim the truth not only of the modern nation state of Israel and its blessing to the world, its legal and historical right to exist, but also the blessing and the legal and moral contribution that the Jewish people as a whole throughout history has contributed to the world. It is the position that people are saying that they are anti-Zionist and not anti-Jew, but the Jewish people are the only class of people that seem to be allowed to be bullied, harassed, demonized, or marginalized. People who claim to be against the nation state are actually targeting individuals based on their cultural or national identity. And this is a most unacceptable position and would not be tolerated with any other nation or its descendants. This is the most unacceptable position and also reveals the underlying lack of dignity and legitimacy that these groups that call themselves anti-Zionists, including BDS, have when it comes to any kind of reasoned discussion about the Middle East in general, or in particular policies and issues regarding the nation of Israel and relations with neighbors, Arabs, and Palestinians. Please recognize that having a legitimate discussion or debate regarding policy within the modern nation state of Israel is completely okay, logical, and reasonable. But this discussion must start with the premise that Israel is legally and rightfully allowed to exist and will continue to exist, and the people, its descendants, and those who identify with it cannot be targeted individually. We debate policy all the time in the U.S. So do the French, so do the Germans, so do people from all countries. They debate the issues within their own borders, they debate international issues, and they debate what happens with other countries and how their country should deal with other countries. But in no way is it ever acceptable in the mainstream to then target the individual citizens or the cultural descendants of those people who are spread out around the world. This is not acceptable. Only the nation of Israel is allowed to have this set of focus and targeting. That people with the Jewish identity or nationality or cultural connection are still then targeted as people claim to be debating the policies of a modern nation state. Again, do not grow weary, do not grow discouraged. Keep up the good fight of proclaiming the truth of the historical and legal right for the modern state of Israel to exist, and while not perfect, its citizens and its descendants and its national members who are identified all around the world are not to be the individual or personal targets of some policy debate. We can only make progress if we start there, and that's when we'll reveal who is truly trying to find peace. Shavua Tov, have a great week, and Shabbat Shalom.